another video, so it looked like someone has told Caitlin Clark she has a huge target on her back.
Did you hear what Sabrina Ionescu said about Caitlin Clark? She made a bold statement, warning that Clark will face intense pressure in her rookie season. But why would a WNBA veteran comment on a player who hasn't even stepped on a pro court yet? And why now? To understand, let's look back at Clark's last season. Women's basketball is no easy path. And for Clark, every game was a test of skill, endurance, and mental toughness. The spotlight was relentless. Opponents targeted her, analysts dissected her every move, and expectations only grew. Now, as she enters the WNBA, the challenge gets even tougher. Maybe Ionescu is offering advice from experience, or maybe she's reminding everyone that the league won't be easy for Clark. Either way, one thing is certain, Clark's toughest battles are still ahead.
NBA and take the most brutal punishment of all the damn athletes in the league. People made it their business to try to injure Caitlin Clark, hurt Caitlin Clark, even it felt like the referees was in on it at times.
Can you believe the kind of punishment Caitlin Clark took last season? The physicality was off the charts. Some of the toughest play we've seen in a long time. There were moments that made you wince just watching, as if opponents weren't just defending her, but trying to wear her down completely. At times, it felt like the goal wasn't just to stop her, it was to take her out of the game altogether.
To get, because there was also a stat that came out a few weeks ago that said Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark.
Imagine stepping onto the court every night, knowing you're the main target, not just for defense, but for physical punishment. That was Caitlin Clark's reality. She accounted for 17% of all flagrant fouls in the league, proof of the relentless contact she endured. Game after game, opponents didn't just try to slow her down, they hit her hard, testing both her body and her mental toughness. The pressure could have broken anyone, but Clark refused to back down. She took the hits, adjusted, and kept pushing forward. Now, as she heads to the WNBA, the real question is, can the league handle what she's bringing next?
And all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been, 44-2.
Was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
But here's the twist. Clark didn't just endure the physical punishment, she thrived under it. Game after game, she took the hits, got back up, and delivered standout performances. It was almost as if the more they tried to wear her down, the stronger she became. Instead of breaking her, the relentless pressure only fueled her determination, proving that no amount of contact could shake her dominance.
Yeah. But the stuff toward her is petty and jealous. And the thing I love about her, she never says a word.
You might be thinking, surely the refs stepped in to protect her, right? Well, not exactly. There were plenty of moments where it seemed like the officials turned a blind eye to the excessive physicality Clark endured. Game after game, she absorbed hard hits with little to no whistles, leaving fans frustrated and questioning whether she was up against more than just her opponents, perhaps even a system that wasn't eager to see her dominate.
Called that. So there have been cheap shots, there have been hard fouls, there have been other plays that haven't even been called flagrant fouls. But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue. And that's not just an issue that the players have to work out. That is from top down. That goes to the commissioner level. Like, that is the level that needs to control these kinds of things.
But here's the thing, they couldn't break her. No matter how many hard fouls, cheap shots, or moments of physical exhaustion she faced, Clark refused to back down. She didn't just survive the pressure, she thrived under it. Every time she got knocked down, she got right back up, responding with deep threes, pinpoint passes, and game-changing plays. Her ability to rise above the adversity wasn't just about skill, it was about pure resilience. The mental toughness she displayed set her apart, proving that she wasn't just another talented player, but a competitor built for greatness. While others might have folded under that kind of relentless targeting, Clark used it as fuel, showing the world that no amount of physical play could shake her confidence or stop her from leading her team to victory.
Well, so it said Sabrina Ionescu claims that Caitlin Clark has a target on her back thanks to her huge influence on the WNBA and women's basketball in general.
Now let's dive into what Sabrina Ionescu said about Caitlin Clark, because her words have been making waves across the basketball world. When a star like Ionescu speaks on a rising rookie, people pay attention. Was it a warning, a challenge, or just honest insight from someone who's been in Clark's shoes before? Whatever the case, her statement has sparked conversations, and fans everywhere are eager to unpack what it really means for Clark's future in the WNBA.
Ionescu was quick to praise Caitlin Clark's attributes, but she did not admit that the 23-year-old fame and talent is scrutinizing at a much higher level than others. In an interview with you,
Ionescu made a bold statement, predicting that Clark will face intense scrutiny next season. That might sound expected for a rising star, but here's the twist. Ionescu isn't trying to intimidate her. In fact, she's been one of Clark's biggest supporters. It's almost as if she's passing the torch while also giving a reality check. She knows firsthand the pressure that comes with being in the spotlight, and her words feel less like a challenge and more like a warning. Clark's journey is just beginning, and the expectations will only get heavier.
I've always, supported her through her college career and just wanted to be someone that she can come to and ask any questions entering the league. And, obviously she has a target on her back, just like a lot of us do, in terms of understanding what it is you're trying to accomplish in the league.
But what we're seeing, but not generalizing, not by every WNBA player, but by some, I believe Kennedy Carter in that specific incident, is envy. Because post-game, when you go to the presser and you don't want to answer questions about Caitlin Clark, why? You answer questions about other individuals, but you don't want to answer questions about Caitlin Clark. I believe what we are seeing is envy. Now, it's a human response. When you were a kid, if somebody had new Jordans that you did not have, you wanted them. Envy is a natural human response. I would be shocked if we weren't seeing envy, but I will not gaslight the viewers, the fans, and you watching by trying to act like individuals are not envious of Caitlin Clark.
Here's the thing, Ionescu knows exactly what she's talking about because she's lived it. When she entered the league, she was the face of a new era, with sky-high expectations and a target on her back. Every opponent wanted to test her, to prove they could shut down the next big star. Now, she's watching history repeat itself with Clark. She understands the pressure, the scrutiny, and the challenges that come with being the most talked-about player in the game. And with her statement, it's almost as if she's preparing Clark for the storm that's coming.
What Caitlin's been able to do in the college game, continuing to push it forward. She's selling out every arena she's going to, and obviously the WNBA is excited to bring her in market wherever she's going to end up, and continuing to push the game. I think the more players that we continue to have, the better it is that we're going to be able to enter different marketplaces and have different fan bases and continuing to break records. And so excited to see her finish out her senior year and figure out what she's going to do, whether she's going to stay or go. But regardless of what she's doing, she's changing the game of basketball.
Ionescu is doing more than just making a statement. She's preparing Clark for what's ahead, offering mentorship and advice from someone who's been in her shoes. Clark has already faced intense competition, but Ionescu knows the WNBA is a whole different level. The physicality, the expectations, the relentless pressure, it's all about to increase. This isn't just a friendly heads up, it's a warning. Clark may have dominated in college, but in the pros, the challenges will be tougher, the defenders stronger, and the spotlight even brighter.
So the Indiana Fever have got their enforcer. They have got their enforcer for Caitlin Clark. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to Caitlin Clark and their enforcer, last year everyone was talking about them needing an enforcer, and the closest thing they had was Erica Wheeler. That was the closest thing they had for someone to defend Caitlin Clark, was Erica freaking Wheeler. Maybe Tammy, but Caitlin Clark was getting hit a lot. She was getting hit a lot early, and they needed their Charles Oakley. When it comes to DeWanna Bonner's tough. You're not going to mess with DeWanna Bonner, but I wouldn't call her an enforcer. Natasha Howard, the same. I wouldn't call her an enforcer, but you don't mess with her. Sophie Cunningham, on the other hand, yeah. Sophie Cunningham is literally the, for lack of a better word, the biggest shithouse in the WNBA.
Ionescu pointed out that Clark isn't just facing the usual rookie challenges. She's stepping into the league with full-blown superstar expectations. With major endorsements, non-stop media attention, and a massive fan base, every opponent will see her as the player to beat. But Ionescu isn't trying to intimidate her. She's embracing the moment. She knows Clark's presence is elevating. The league bringing more eyes to the game than ever before. In fact, she's excited about it, telling Clark, It'll be tough, but you're going to make our league better.
Stays here with Indiana. Clark, a deep one. You bet! A Brooklyn logo bomb from Caitlin Clark.
Efficient, best performance in terms of shooting the back.
Now realizes it. Clark trying to take her defender, pulls up and hits from the mid-range. 20 points for Caitlin Clark.
A really good feel for when she should take a defender based on who it is, and that time going.
Clark's arrival is ushering in a new era for the WNBA, and the Indiana Fever know it. They're not just welcoming a star, they're building around her. To protect Clark and help her thrive, they've made key moves, bringing in tough, experienced players like Sophie Cunningham and DeWanna Bonner. These additions aren't just about support, they're about setting the foundation for something bigger. The Fever aren't here to develop slowly, they're assembling a roster with one clear goal in mind, a championship.
3.4 million people watched the WNBA All-Star Game. That was a reported 300% increase, and that's via Women's Hoops Network from 2023.
This is exactly why the Indiana Fever's strategy makes perfect sense. They've seen what Clark has endured. The relentless physicality, the cheap shots, the pressure, and they're making sure she's not facing it alone. By bringing in tough, battle-tested players, they're sending a message to the rest of the league. If you come for Clark, you're going through us first. The Fever aren't just building for the future, they're making a statement. Not on our watch.
Back at the last 20 years, they've unfortunately been met with a stalemate, but enter 2024 and the Caitlin Clark effect. While there are other rookies who have brought eyes, notably Angel Reese, and many other current superstars who have shined a light on their talents, notably Asia Wilson, the league has without a doubt been elevated by the attention and spotlight brought in by the logo shooting guard from Indiana by way of Iowa. So if we look at this chart for the 2024 season, the Indiana Fever are pretty much blowing out every other team. They are averaging almost 16,000 per 39 games. So this is taking into consideration not only the Indiana Fever home games, but also when they are on the road. Their lowest attendance was around 6,000 people. And if you look at the rest of the league, everybody else is around 3,000 for their lowest. Their highest attendance is 2,366.
The Fever aren't just protecting Clark, they're unleashing her. They've seen her thrive under pressure, taking hit after hit and still delivering. Now, they want to see what she can do when she's free to play her game without constant roadblocks. Clark isn't just another rookie. She's already redefining the league before even stepping onto a WNBA court. And if you need proof of her impact, just look at her Super Bowl commercial. It wasn't just another ad, it was 3 times longer than most. A rare spotlight in one of the biggest marketing events of the year. But it wasn't just about the airtime. It was a statement. Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement.
Sisters, black women, who are absolutely positively fantastic in helping to build the WNBA, did not receive the shine, the acclaim, the allure, the attention, the marketing, and everything else with it that they richly deserved. And there are very, very few people, but there are some out there who resent the fact that this young white girl came out there and did her thing. Rookie of the Year, 4th in the league for MVP voting, assist leader, one of the top leading scorers after the Olympic Games. She put on a show.
Clark's Super Bowl commercial wasn't just an ad. It was a declaration of resilience and defiance in women's sports. Shot after shot, challenge after challenge, she kept pushing forward, refusing to let doubt or criticism define her. The message was loud and clear. I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm not backing down. That same energy translates to her game. Clark doesn't just play, she electrifies. She makes jaw-dropping plays look effortless, draining logo threes, and threading impossible passes with pinpoint precision. But it's not just the highlights that make her special. It's her court vision, her leadership, and her ability to elevate everyone around her. She's not just a rising star, she's a game changer, and the Fever are ready to unleash her full potential.